Hey there, everybody. Welcome. We are in a series called A Man After God's Own Heart, the life of David in the Bible. And we're in Second Samuel, chapter number 10 today. If you can turn your Bible there and follow along while I read, that would be very helpful to you. 19 verses to cover here in our study today. So Second Samuel, chapter number 10. We finished the last time we met with chapter 9 and David reaching out to the family of Saul to do honor to his friend Jonathan, and he does so by finding Jonathan's crippled son named Mephibosheth. He restores to him all the land of Saul, all the possessions. He has his servant, Saul's servant that is, take care of the grounds because Mephibosheth is a crippled man. And so it's good news for Mephibosheth. I revisit that because we're going to run into Mephibosheth again later. In fact, something similar to what happens then is going to happen today in Second Samuel 10. So let's start at verse number 1, 2 Samuel 10. And it came to pass after this, meaning after the Mephibosheth I don't want to call it an incident, it isn't exactly that, the Mephibosheth blessing, let's call it that the king of the children of Ammon died, and Hanun his son reigned in his stead. So the Ammonites are this nation that is they're on the outs with Israel at times, and then sometimes they're allies. It's a difficult relationship that the Israelites have with the Ammonites. If I'm not mistaken, Lot and his two daughters, they have those children, Moabites and Ammonites. 99% sure I'm correct about that. And so they are akin to the Israelites, but they still struggle in their relationship with them. Well, David is trying to offer an olive branch here. So the king of the Ammonites dies, and his son, Hanun, takes the throne. Then said David, I will show kindness unto Hanun the son of Nahash, as his father showed kindness unto me. So the relationship is good at this point in time between Ammon and Israel. So David wants to be a blessing. I want to give you a gift because your father was good to me. David sent to comfort him by the hand of his servants for his father, and David's servants came into the land of the children of Ammon. And the princes of the children of Ammon said unto Hanun their lord, Thinkest thou that David doth honor thy father, that he hath sent comforters unto thee? Hath not David rather sent his servants unto thee to search out the city, and to spy it out, and to overthrow it? So here the leaders that serve with the king Hanun, we would call them his chiefs of staff perhaps, they come to Hanun and they say, we know what you're thinking. We know that you think David is trying to be good to you, but we got news for you. He's not. He's using this opportunity to send his servants to spy out the land so that he can then come and attack us. Verse number 4, Wherefore Hanun took David's servants and shaved off the one half of their beards, and cut off their garments in the middle, even to their buttocks, and sent them away. I'm sorry for my childish grin, but this is a bit humorous, isn't it? Hanun captures David's men. He shaves half their beards off and then cuts their clothing so that they're too short to cover their rear ends. And then he sends them back. So basically, what's he doing? He's humiliating these men. Now, what is David's intent here? David's trying to be a blessing. He's trying to be a help to this new young king. And instead of it being received with gratitude and the good nature of the relationship continuing, Hanun listens to these fools. And he humiliates David's men in the process. So let's stop here and say, what should have Hanun done? Well, Hanun should have taken the gesture at face value. David had done nothing to him or to his father that would cause him to suspect he was up to no good. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Well, David had never fooled them. Never. So when you first interact with someone, the best thing to do is to give them the benefit of the doubt and take them at their word. And then if you learn otherwise, then the next time they come around that they're not trustworthy. But if we start living lives where there is a lack of trust in individuals and we don't take people at their word, what kind of progress or society are we going to have? And you can call that naive if you want. You can say that it's prone to error or problems, and maybe so. But I'd rather see the good in people and trust what they're trying to do than read evil intentions, even in good actions. And that's where the real problem lies here. It's not that David had sent spies. It's not that David had been disingenuous and not responded to the king's father's death at all. He's trying to do something nice here. And so take it at face value. And that's the kind of man David was. So he is probably very shocked at the reception his men got. So verse 5, when they told it unto David, he sent to meet them because the men were greatly ashamed. And the king said, tarry at Jericho until your beards be grown, and then return. So David said, look, you guys just stay where you are, get some new clothes, let your beards grow back out, and then you can come on home. And when the children of Ammon saw that they stank before David, that's an interesting way of putting it, the children of Ammon sent and hired the Syrians of Beth-rehob, and the Syrians of Zobah 20,000 footmen, and of King Maacah 1,000 men, and of Ishtab 12,000 men. So 20,000 plus another 1,000's 21, plus 12,000, 33,000 men. So once the king Hanun realizes, man, I really blew it. I stepped in it this time. This is not good for me. So they start hiring the Syrians to defend them. And when David heard of it, he sent Joab and all the host of the mighty men. And the children of Ammon came out and put the battle in array at the entering in of the gate. And the Syrians of Zobah and of Rehob and Ishtab and Maacah were by themselves in the field. When Joab saw that the front of the battle was against him before and behind, he chose all the choice men of Israel and put them in array against the Syrians. And the rest of the people he delivered into the hand of Abishai his brother, that he might put them in array against the children of Ammon. So what you've got here, Joab has the men, and they're getting ready to fight, but the Syrians come in from one side, and the Ammonites come in from the other side, so he's surrounded, both sides. So what Joab does is he brings Abishai in, and Joab takes his men, and he's going to fight against the Syrians, and he gives other men to Abishai to fight against the Ammonites. And what he's about to say, and we'll read it in a minute, is if Joab starts to get overtaken, then Abishai can come to his rescue. And if Abishai starts to get overtaken, then Joab and his men can come to his rescue. Verse 11, and he said, if the Syrians be too strong for me, then thou shalt help me. But if the children of Ammon be too strong for thee, then I will come and help thee. Be of good courage, and let us play the men for our people, and for the cities of our God, and the Lord do that which seemeth him good. And Joab drew nigh, and the people that were with him, unto the battle against the Syrians, and they fled before him. And so Joab and his men are able to run the Syrians right out, 33,000 of them. He sends them fleeing. And when the children of Ammon saw that the Syrians were fled, the hired hands, then fled they also before Abishai, and entered into the city. So Joab returned from the children of Ammon and came to Jerusalem. So in the end, Israel and David win. And when the Syrians saw that they were smitten before Israel, they gathered themselves together. And Hadarezer sent and brought out the Syrians that were beyond the river. And they came to Helam, and Shobach, the captain of the host of Hadarezer, went before them. And when it was told David, he gathered all Israel together and passed over Jordan and came to Helam. And the Syrians set themselves in array against David and fought with him. And the Syrians fled before Israel, and David slew the men of 700 chariots of the Syrians, and 40,000 horsemen, and smote Shobach, the captain of the host, who died there. And when all the kings that were servants to Hadarezer saw that they were smitten before Israel, they made peace with Israel and served them. So the Syrians feared to help the children of Ammon anymore. And so David here puts an end to this alliance between Ammon and the Syrians, and now those two are separated, and this is a good position militarily for David and Israel to be in. But that's all the second half of the chapter. In fact, the second 2/3 of the chapter. This all started because you had a bunch of guys paranoid, thinking evil of someone when they had no reason or right to think evil of them. You know, it doesn't help human relationships when we enter into them suspicious from the start and untrusting from the start. There has to be some trust, there has to be some confidence, and we ought to respect that in one another. And perhaps if you show some respect and confidence and trustworthiness in someone, that's what they might give you. But if you're always looking over your shoulder and checking your back and just knowing and expecting that they're going to come in and do you wrong, well, you're probably going to find exactly what you're looking for. All right, there it is. I forget what I called this thing. The Man After God's Own Heart. I know that part, but then there's a secondary title, and it's escape. Oh, here it is. The Ammonites' Great Mistake. And there it is. Hunan should have never listened to those guys. I guess that would be a secondary principle to take from this. Be careful who you listen to. Be careful who you trust. Make sure that the counsel you're seeking is wise counsel and helpful and isn't going to put you in a bad position. All right, that's all that I got for you. Thanks so much for watching. God bless you. Have a wonderful day.